Hi everyone, welcome to the talk. This is Chris and I'm Angela. We're running a coffee shop together. I mean, he's the boss and I'm the manager. So today we're going to talk about working together, our experience working together, and how it's frustrating sometimes.
No pulling punches. You have to tell them how mad you actually got.
Okay. Do you remember the first time we met?
I think I do. We were at our old location, and it was so it's on the first floor, and I kind of remember weren't you with someone else?
Yeah.
Walking with a friend, and then you stopped and you walked in, and I think Mickey was there at the time, manager Mickey, and you wanted a job. And I think Mickey came over and said, "Oh, like she wants to work here, and we're looking for people." So I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I don't remember in particular like a lot about that time, but what do you remember about Laoban, about the boss?
I remember I was walking around and looking for a place to work at.
You were seriously job looking?
Oh, yeah.
Just walking around Ximen?
Ximen was like our last stop.
Oh, no way.
I went somewhere else for that.
Where else were you going?
I don't know. I went to Shilin.
Okay, Shilin sucks compared to Ximen, apparently. Anyway, sorry. I'm not down. I don't hate Shilin. In fact, I used to work close to Shilin in Shilin Night Market. So.
Okay.
Sorry. You tried a bunch of places. Ximen was your last stop.
Yeah. And I didn't want to go to exit 6 because that's where
too many people.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, and for some reason just walked towards exit 1 and then saw this little cute coffee shop, and there's this weird foreigner standing out there.
Yeah, it must have been somebody else. I'm not sure who it was.
I'm pretty sure it's you.
Okay.
And then there's like words on the wall saying, "We are the Aroma of Christ."
Yes.
And then I thought, oh, it's a church. Perfect. And then, I don't know, I just asked if you're looking for someone.
Yeah.
And then you introduced me to Mickey. So I had like the interview right away with Mickey.
Okay, so I think the reason why Ximen was our last stop is so interesting to me is because that's the way the whole Aroma idea started. Actually, was back in 2006, I think it was, before we even moved here. There were these two guys that were in charge of like figuring out where they were going to start this site where we could host teams and interns coming from the States. And they went all over the island. And Ximen was the last stop. And only because the person taking them around the island wanted to take them to a place where they could buy like gifts for their family, like souvenirs. And so it was only supposed to go to like buy some things for their family. But when they came up out of exit 6, saw all the youth there, they were like, this is where we have to start things. And that's cool to me that it was like your last stop, in the same way that it was their last stop when they first, decided to start sending teams and interns here. So I think that's pretty cool. It's always the last place. There's something special in there, a gem for all of you to know. It's always the last place you look.
Destiny.
It's destiny. Stop looking.
Yeah, and then I remember after a week later, someone called me. But actually, they called my mom.
What? Wrong number?
Because I left my mom's number.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't thinking.
Yeah,
No.
That's weird.
I didn't do it on purpose, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
I left the wrong number.
Yeah.
They called my mom, and my mom calls me, and she's like, "Did you try to get a job?"
Yes, we'd like to hire you at Shincha. That's like that is definitely the way that the scammers do it. They're like, "Hey, you want a job? Just send us your bank account information and your password."
Yeah, and I didn't tell my parents because I thought maybe they wouldn't want to let me do part-time
Oh, really?
work. Yeah.
Why not?
I don't know. They're very strict
Okay.
parents.
Are you okay? This is interesting culture thing. Were you did they help pay for college a little bit or no?
No.
But they also didn't want you to work. Maybe you didn't even know.
I didn't know.
You just weren't sure.
Because they always I think for most of the Taiwanese kids, the parents, they want you to study.
Right, focus.
Study hard.
But then don't they pay for it if they want you to study hard? That seems a little bit... that doesn't work.
Student loan. You don't have to pay right away.
Got it.
So.
Okay. Take on some loans. Cool.
Yeah, but they were paying for the rent or whatever.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I just felt I got bored.
You were bored. Yeah,
I
could see
wanted...
that. You want to do something a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So your mom called you and said, would you like a job? Because they called her. And then what happened?
Yeah.
And then what happened?
And then I started working.
Okay. Good.
Behind a bar. And I didn't know anything about coffee.
Yeah.
At a time. I didn't even drink coffee.
What was it like learning how to do coffee stuff?
It was interesting.
Okay.
It's new. Everything is new, and I was nervous.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of foreigners at Aroma, and I was freaking out whenever there's foreigner customers walking in.
Because you don't know what to say to them.
No.
Okay.
And we have church friends.
But couldn't you already speak some English?
I was not used to speaking English.
Okay. Did you go to Bushiban as a kid? Did you go to cram school as a kid?
Of course.
Okay. So would you say that's kind of like a lot of Taiwanese people?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went to cram school, but then it wasn't it didn't give you much confidence.
Yeah. I mean,
did you have a lot of vocabulary? You just didn't feel confident
I think I had
speaking?
some, yeah.
Okay.
I can read, and I can... I mean, my listening wasn't good either.
Okay.
And, yeah, just keep reading and writing.
Yeah. So was it a lot of them pointing to the menu item and then you being okay?
Oh, no, I would...
Was it that bad?
Send my...
You would send somebody else? Oh, gosh. Okay. Okay. All right. And then what happened?
And then we were able to talk to each other because you speak Chinese.
Oh, yeah. I did. I don't speak much Chinese to you anymore. Because your English improved so much. All you need to do is come work at Aroma for a couple months and you'll be fluent. Like a native English speaker. Yeah, that's our promise to you. So come get a job here if you want to improve your English. Or 10 years. Come work for 10 years.
It's been more than 10 years.
Wow. That's
when I first came here.
Yeah.
It's when I was in college.
Okay.
It's old.
Yeah. 更不要说我. Don't even talk about that. Yeah. Okay.
So when I first started working here, I was just a little worker behind a bar. All I had to do was to make coffee, make sandwiches, and serve customers. And you were the boss running the business.
Okay.
Do you remember much of the time?
I think that was before we found out that we weren't allowed to have volunteers work behind the bar. So we had a lot of people coming and working behind the bar just to practice, practice Chinese, or I guess foreigners practice Chinese or learn how to make coffee, or maybe they were interested in sharing about Jesus with people that came in. So there was many shifts. I remember that there was a lot of people, sometimes 10 or even 15 people that would have one shift, 2 shifts per week. And the team is a little bit different now because we don't have as many, we don't have volunteers, not as many, we don't have any volunteers, working behind the bar in that sense. So that's a very different experience. So you probably had a lot more like a bigger team to have to deal with, and more like thinking about how do I interact with these people. And I remember working together on like some projects, like I feel like you helped with some marketing stuff. Did you make that muffin box commercial? I feel like you were part of it, no? Okay.
I was there.
Okay, you were there.
But the team...
There was a team that helped out make a muffin box commercial.
I don't remember.
Yeah, the team was from California. Justin made it.
Justin made the video,
okay.
But one of the team members in the video with Annie.
Yes, and you were just watching.
I was just there.
You were just there, make sure everything worked out okay.
I made sure there were...
We did some events, and you learned how to do recipes, different things like that. That's cool. Do you think that your interaction with... tell me about your interaction with the team. What was that like for you?
The team? You mean the...
All the different people that worked, as part of the coffee shop.
Meeting a lot of interns and friends that come from the States was interesting. And I actually had a lot of fun with these friends, and I became good friends with some of them. And
enemies with others.
Huh?
I said enemies with others, but I was just kidding. You don't have any enemies, I don't think. Like some are your friends, but some are your enemies? That's the joke I was trying to make.
Okay.
I'm not that funny. Yeah, okay. So you feel like kind of lifelong friends with some of them?
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay. What was that like? Did you feel like it was just a work relationship, or how did it change from being, oh, this is just my like coworker, to this is my friend?
I don't think... Do we work together? I don't remember. I have really bad memories. So.
I don't have a lot of shifts behind the bar, so I don't think that I did get many.
I think we just like became friends, and we were just hanging out all the time, like when we're not working.
Yeah, like I think you told me a story the other day about there was like a big order, and you weren't even working, but then you just jumped in, and you should tell that story.
That's when we had maybe like 4 or 5 people coffee shop team at a time, and everyone's willing to work extra hours, like stay late just to help. Yeah. And like nobody asked them to do it. We just like wanted to help and wanted to stay longer with these cool co-workers, and we just don't want to miss out on like being part of that event or that big order that we had. And it was just it was busy, and we had like a lot of walk-in customers, and when there's events, of course there's a lot of people, and we were just like working hard together all the time, and still hang out, like want to hang out after work.
Yeah. I think there's something to that, like when you're on a mission together, like whether the mission's to make 30 sandwiches for some customer, or to share God's love with 10 people, or whatever it is, like when you're on a mission together, that in the middle of that difficult struggle to have to, find a strategy for how to make that thing work, there's something really cool that happens where people become friends. They become able to, work in unity together, and to help each other, and to grow, and really also to challenge each other as well. I think that's really cool and very very special that you were able to have those kinds of experiences.
Yeah, but do you think it's a personality thing? Like we just happen to have some good personality people that worked well together? Or because that's one good team that I've been in, but it's not always like that.
Yeah. Definitely personality plays a part in it. And it's hard to, like, you couldn't say that there would be no part to play of personality. So I think that that's true. I think we try at Aroma to have like respect for the fact that we're different, and how do we highlight and celebrate that those things are different, but then also challenge each other to work together to celebrate those differences, but then also to work towards something bigger than ourselves. I think that's the mission thing, because yeah, you do some stuff that annoys me, I do some stuff that annoys you, but if we're willing to kind of look past that and pursue something that's more meaningful than just like me always getting what I want or you always getting what you want, I think there's something powerful to that.
Yeah, is it like the thing that you always say, own the vision?
Own the vision, yeah. So that's number one. It's like there's no, an old boss used to, well, actually, technically still my boss. My boss used to say, my boss sometimes says, no task is more important than a person. So like, if I screwed up the coffee today, like you don't fire me, because I messed up the coffee. But no person is more important than the vision. And I think all of us that are still around are people that are saying like, hey, I want to contribute to this vision, and I'm willing to sacrifice myself and all that I want in order to contribute to this thing that's bigger than me. And there's something really powerful in that. I think that's a big part of leadership and team building, and all the teams and all the companies that make a big difference, make a big impact. She's cheating. ChatGPT, what's the next question?
ChatGPT is your friend, not my friend.
Download ChatGPT. It's a subliminal message.
Okay. So, I worked here for a little bit more than 4 years during college, and then I left for school in the States, and I was there for 3 years. Came back every summer to help behind bars. But then after 3 years, I came back, and you invited me back to the team. What were you thinking?
What was I thinking? That is a great question. What was I thinking?
What were you thinking?
What was I thinking? You really set that question really good. I think that you are someone who, first of all, so the background of that story is that right before you came back to Taiwan, we had some of our other leaders, they decided to kind of move on to the next thing for them. And so there was this hole, there was this gap that we didn't know how we're going to fill it. And after I knew that they were leaving, and it was very short notice, they didn't give us a lot of time to make the transition. So they're leaving and going to their next thing. And we're like, we don't have enough people. We don't have manager, we don't have enough workers, and so what are we going to do? And we had actually, I think at that point, we had just shut down and decided that we were just going to like pray and ask God what we should do next, if we should keep going or not. So that's kind of the background of it. And we're praying, and it's been a couple weeks maybe, I think, of praying for this. And then I forget who it was who told me, I think maybe it was Sweetie or somebody had said something like, oh, Angela's back. What about that? Maybe not saying like, you should definitely hire her, but just mentioning, oh, she's back, and I was like, yeah, that could work. I think a lot of times I don't necessarily reflect on or think about much of the details of how something's going to work. Probably one of the things that bothers you the most is that. But so later you can tell them all the things that you don't like. But for now, at least I think like I was like, yeah, I can imagine that, And if I can imagine something, if I can kind of see it like, yeah, that works. I mean, it makes sense because you are already experienced in the way that Aroma has operated in the past. So that's a huge win because you can, of course, there's maybe some things about management that you never learned before, but if I have to take someone who knows nothing about coffee, nothing about our menu or any of the things that we've done before, or how the coffee shop and the church have to work together and how there's teams and interns that are involved and it's a big mess. If somebody coming in that doesn't have all that background, it's going to be even harder for them, right? Even if they maybe already know some of it, like maybe they're already a coffee manager, but they just need, like, that other stuff is super important and it's part of who we are. So having someone who knows, a little bit more about who we are and has experienced that and knows, like, maybe some of the struggles, some of the weird things about it, some of the frustrations, but is still willing to be part of that. I think that's really cool, really special. And then I think the other thing is that I know the school that you had gone to had a very strong emphasis on wanting to, like, seek God and the supernatural. And that's really something that I want our community to continue to pursue. So, like, seeing God's power at work, not just in church on Sunday morning, but to understand that Holy Spirit wants to go with us throughout our day and our week and at our job. And if you had just spent 3 years, like, being in that kind of an environment, to come and take what you've learned from there and how you've grown and bring that into our community, I thought, man, that'd be really cool. That'd be really special. And so I said, let's give this a shot. Does that answer your question?
I think so.
Okay.
Cool. So it's kingdom business.
Yes, that's what I want to go for. Yeah. And the background understanding of it. And yeah, I think that, there's people already around here that you've gotten along with. Like you said, whether you were part of, leading and directing that or not, you still were part of building that community in the past. The contribution that you made as someone who's part of the community and the past experiences you had, that's like a solid foundation to build on. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was also a weird time, like COVID, like the second year or the third year COVID, maybe?
It's 2021, so it was, Taiwan stayed open all 2020, and then we didn't close down until April 2021, and then I think you came back in September 2021 is when I think you came on staff. Am I remembering that wrong? Because by 2022 we were moved here. So we had like one whole year pretty much of being here. In our old location. Then we moved to our new location.
I never remember.
So we're like it was like half shut down. Because in that time we had, you had only a certain number of people could be in the building at a time, and you had to have like spacing, and you had to have certain regulations that you followed, and so it was pretty weird. It was pretty weird.
Yeah. Well, should I ask the scary question?
The scary question, sure. Go for it.
What was the most difficult thing? Okay, first, what was the most difficult thing working with Taiwanese people? Because the cultural differences and different backgrounds and
I think there are a lot of things about the different culture, the Taiwanese culture, that I don't understand, even though I've been here for a long time, and things that are maybe automatic or things that are communicated that I miss. There have been, I can think of a few stories of times where people have been like, I said that so clearly, and I'm like, I don't think I remember hearing anything remotely close to that. And so I think I'm just kind of like, I tell people sometimes, like, my head is a little bit thick. It's like hard to get stuff in here, and so it's hard when people are more indirect and I'm more direct. I think that can be quite challenging. Yeah,
I think I was really Taiwanese before.
Okay.
And yeah, I wouldn't be so direct with anyone about anything. That's the big difference.
So do you think you're more direct now?
I think so.
Okay, good.
I think so. I don't know.
I mean, I think you've told me a few times that like something bothers you, so that's good. Yeah.
Okay, but what was the most difficult thing working with me?
I think it's similar, but a little bit different than the direct indirect thing, which is I think oftentimes you're like really quiet and hard to read, and I'm like, is she like really mad at me right now, or is she actually like super happy? There's this TV show called Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Do you know about this TV show? Okay, so you are like Ray Holt, like the captain, the African American guy, who's like, he's like, I've never been more happy my whole life. And it's like, I'm in excruciating pain right now. It's like the highest of high and the lowest of low, and it's the same face. It's you're not like Ray Holt, but you know that idea of like, am I getting that or not? And it's kind of confusing, and then maybe I don't always know how to ask, and so it's like, how do we get into this conversation? It can be hard. Yeah. Or like I send a message and, well, this just happened a few weeks ago. I sent a message, you're really frustrated about it. I should have talked to you in person maybe first and explained a little bit more first, but I send this message because I think, okay, like just shoot off a message quick, and then it's like, I don't know. I remember I sent the message on early Saturday morning before I started my Sabbath, and then I saw you on, was it on Saturday night? No, it was on Sunday at church. And I was like, is she mad? Is she happy? Is she just like, is she really good at setting the boundary between like work and other life, so she can just be like, no, it's no problem, like everything is good? So I'm curious to hear you share a little bit more. Were you like, Sunday, were you like, meh, at Chris, or was it like, no, whatever, we can talk about that on Tuesday, and when we meet or something like that? So yeah, I think hard to read. Yeah. I'll answer that. I'll answer like that, yeah.
No, I think I just put it aside. And
you can just totally block it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not like 100%.
Yeah.
Because when I see you, I'm like, what is he thinking right now?
Oh, I'm hard to read too?
No.
Okay. Because I feel like my face is pretty much selling it out the whole time. But.
Not hard to read, just like, is he gonna come talk to me right now?
Oh, do you want me to come talk to you right now?
No.
Okay.
No, I was just wondering.
Got it. Yeah.
And then you didn't, and you were busy. I'm like, I'll wait till Tuesday then.
Okay.
So just.
But it doesn't like bother you for those next 2 days. You're just like free.
I think there's a certain level of stress.
Okay.
But
wondering. Have you ever been like, Chris is definitely going to fire me on Tuesday? Have you ever felt like that? Like, I'm done? No.
No, I'm like,
I'm going to fire
quit
Chris
before he fires.
Oh, I'm going to get Chris fired. Yeah, I understand that.
No.
You wouldn't be the first person to try to get me fired.
I think I spend more time regretting. Like, how do I, like, I was thinking I shouldn't have been so emotional, or like I shouldn't have like say that unrelated thing.
Yeah.
Should
we tell them more details, or is this enough?
No, I think that's good.
Okay, I think a little more details would be good. So here's the story. So I asked a question about the project that we're working on, and I just said, hey, how did it go this month, and what are you going to do next month? And you wrote back a bunch of stuff about like, well, I didn't do anything this month. I'm going to try to come up with some plans, but, and then you went through some other things that like were frustrating you about things maybe unrelated to that. Yeah. So is that what you're saying is emotional, is when you brought up all that other stuff?
Yeah, because I don't think it was, because at first it's unrelated.
Right.
But
kind of related a little bit.
Kind of not really related to the topic that we were talking about with that one project. And I just, because I usually try to have my boundaries clear. Yeah. Like, I don't want to like mix up things. And I hate it when people do that. So I hated myself when I did that. Oh. Yeah. So, but I was also like, I regretted saying that, but I also was like, but then I said it, and that's what are the other opportunities for me to like share that in the future? Yeah. Like, I wouldn't just go and be like, Chris, so I want to
talk about this stuff.
I can't imagine any way of.
Do you think that might be a culture difference, or is that personality, or a little bit of both, or?
I feel like I am too weird.
You're too weird.
I can't speak for all the Taiwanese people anymore. And
I'm not true Taiwanese. Okay.
Yeah.
So, because I feel like some of that, you just said you can't imagine going and bringing up those things that are frustrating you.
Because I feel like if I bring something up, that means I want you to. That maybe means I want you to fix it, or that's just me complaining, maybe, and I don't want to be just complaining.
Right.
And I always try to like work it out my own.
Yeah.
Like any problems.
Right. Well, that's like taking responsibility. That's pretty cool. But there's some stuff that you can't really like. You don't have control over. Some things that your boss might.
But then I try to adjust my attitude and my heart. Like position my heart in like the right place.
Got it.
That's what I try to do. And things like that happen. Yeah.
So then how did we work it out?
I worked it out myself.
You did?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, I tried it. I don't know. It could be. Yeah, I guess I just always want to fix my own problems. Like instead of like inviting someone else into my problems. And ask for their help is not like usually my first.
Why is that?
Thought. Because.
Pride. Oh, sorry.
No, because I feel like it's ugly.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want people to see it.
Got it. Okay. So just figure it out and then come back when the situation is taken care of.
Yeah, so I can look like a normal
person. All right. Okay.
Instead of some crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think anything happened? Because then later on Tuesday we talked about it. And then what happened then?
I think it's always weird with you.
Okay.
Because like before we had the conversation, I'm always like, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk to Chris about this. Like I wish he would just like forget it. And I can just forget it and pretend that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But then you always want to talk about it.
Right.
And then you're always asking more questions and like trying. You're not like forcing me to share, but
share. You're fired. That's what I'm gonna say next time. And you're like, you can't fire me. I quit. All right, problem solved.
I quit before you fired.
That's right.
No, I think you're always waiting for me to share.
Okay.
Maybe that's it.
Okay.
So I just always ended up sharing more than I wanted to.
All right.
Which I hated it, but I was also thankful for it.
So, do you think that kind of thing, like, how would people take this for themselves? Like, if somebody was thinking about their own situation, how would you recommend someone begin to have those hard conversations, like with their boss or their coworker?
I feel like I can't just tell
them to come work at Aroma is the first thing you do.
No, I think that conversation only happened because I had the trust for you.
Yeah.
And trust is not something that you can just have like in one day.
But how does it start?
I think it takes time and a couple of fights and.
Okay. So get in a fight with your boss. That's what you recommend?
No. But not everyone's like you.
True.
Some people would just give up. They would just quit, or they just left, never came back. But I trusted you because I know you care, and I know you would always come back, and you wouldn't just like, okay, bye.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think like everyone should just like go have a talk. But
it's got to start somehow. And I guess the point that I'm getting at that's really interesting to me is like thinking about the work environment in different companies, like in Taiwan or maybe even in different countries. It's like I hear a lot about how people want to have a certain kind of work environment. But most people don't want to do the work it takes to make that environment. And we can't have that environment if it's only you or if it's only me. But if one of us doesn't start it, then we'll never have it. So like maybe I started it, because I started Aroma or something like that, but it's continued because people like you are willing to take that risk to try that. Because you could have said like on Tuesday, like, no, I don't want to talk about this. And then, okay, I would have been just shut down and just be like, okay, whatever, Yeah. Or I've been like, you talk about this before next week, or, someone give you some consequence or something, be like, you can't get your salary. But then I get the labor department is like after me. I can't like withhold salary. Like there's nothing I can do really, Obviously, like I could let you go, but I don't want to do that. So I'm thinking like, what practically are things that people could start to do? Like what's a small thing that someone could start to do to see about building that environment? Because like you believe people are powerful, right? You believe that people have like influence and they have capacity, and they don't have maybe the same position that you have in Aroma or that I have in Aroma, but they can do something. So what can they do? What can people do? Something to think about. Got any ideas?
Well, I thought the question is more for you.
It's for me.
How do you build the trust and the culture for people to be willing to have hard conversations? Because that's something you value, and it's your company, and everyone who comes under you are going to be affected.
Hopefully, yeah. Well, I think maybe one thing that I'm getting at with the question that I was just giving to you was, like, I think every person has a part to play in it, and I believe one of the values that we have here is assume good intent, and another one is rely on each other. And so I want to trust that if I'm committed to this vision, I assume that you're also, because you're here, you're committed to this vision. And of course we have different levels of commitment, we have different lengths of time that we're willing to be committed, but while you're here, I believe that you're trying to own that vision. So we're committed to that. And then I believe that you want to be a part of this community. So we're building this community together. I'm assuming that when you said that stuff in that message, like there's some real needs there that need to get addressed, that some of them I can be part of helping to fix, like that's my job. and others of them might just be like, oh, I need to listen, and give you a place to feel like you're heard, and have some empathy. And then maybe some of them are like, well, I need to challenge you in this because it's like something that you need to grow in, maybe. I feel like there's an underlying culture of I want to develop the people on my team, and I also want to be developed. And I believe that everybody has something to offer. So when you're here, I believe it's because God told you to be here. Like God gave you that vision ultimately. You're here and you have something, like who you are, who God has made you to be, the experiences you have is something that I need to grow in, something that I need to be challenged in. And so I believe, like, I guess I always remember the story of the donkey in the Bible that talks. Like, even a donkey, even the weirdest person, even the, like, the lowest level worker or the stupidest person, I don't want to say it, like, I don't believe anybody's stupid, but, like, even the people that don't know any of the answers or don't have much experience, any of that stuff, like, they can still speak truth. They still have something to offer. So what can I learn from this situation? And then assuming good intent, like, hey, I don't think you're trying to like hurt me or get me fired or something like that. And then trusting that we want to work on this together. That's special and that's cool. And if I try and that doesn't work out that way, then I don't think, if you really were that opposed to it, I think after asking a few times, you'd probably be tired of like being asked and you might want to move on, be like, this job isn't really for me. Like he's asking me to, like process through these things and I don't want to do that, kind of a thing. And that's cool. Like for some people that's not a good fit, but if it is, then it's worth kind of sacrificing for. And I noticed like a lot of times I will naturally like tell a story about like my struggle. So I remember on Tuesday I was telling you about like another situation that I'm going through with someone else where I feel like where I have my struggles, where I have my like problems and then I'm working through those problems, or maybe I'm not working through those problems. But I remember you said something there, you were talking about like friendship and valuing, like me valuing my time. And for you to, like, you challenged me in that. And I still, like, I told a couple other people over the next few days, I was like, man, Angela said this one thing, and it was like super cool. That was really helpful for me. So I think there's this culture, like, if we believe everybody has something to offer, everybody's powerful, we believe God called us here and brought us together, we believe that we can rely on each other, that we can develop each other, that we can assume good intent. Like those are some really important values that help to start to make some of that potential trust start to have some potential. I guess, yeah.
It's not easy though.
No, not always easy. Yeah. But I guess I haven't found another way yet. I can't pay anybody enough, to get like that guy who won the barista award or something. I don't even think he's probably not even a good manager. He's probably just good at coffee and then yells at people. I don't know. But so I like doing stuff, making stuff happen, doing stuff like with people that are like on that same path. I think that's something really cool about that. Yeah.
Like before you start working with these people, before you hire someone, what are the things that you value the most?
I'm not sure if I'm qualified to answer that question. Because I think honestly, like, I look at the life of Jesus and how he prayed all night. First of all, he's like sharing his message and the crowds are coming and they're all listening and you're like, the kingdom is here, and everybody's like, yeah, that's cool. And then he goes and he prays all night, and then he calls the disciples to follow him. And he says like, hey, come follow me. I'm gonna make you fishers of men. I think it was really neat to see him like sharing out his message, putting his values out there, and then people are drawn to that, and then inviting them, but also challenging them. Come follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. So there's invitation and challenge. There's like relationship, but then there's also like transformation. So come, like, let's work together, but neither of us are going to stay the same. Like, we're going to be challenged and changed in this. And if we're not, then there's no point to going for it. But I think one of the things that I don't do a lot of is like really like really sorting out like, is this person a good fit? And I was challenged recently by another entrepreneur that I know who was like, man, I hire people and I just let them go like within a month or two if it doesn't work out. He's like, sorry buddy, you're not a good fit, and he just lets the person go. And I'm like, I can't imagine that, because not that I want to be the kind of guy who fires people all the time, but I do think like he's really clear. I think he's clearer than I am on what he wants. In a way, I also think maybe he's less interested in developing people. And so I think for me, I have to have like a longer runway before you start to fly. If that makes sense. Like if development is like the runway, if you have a lot of money and you hire the best, most talented person to do the job, you only need like a day of runway and the person's flying already because they're awesome, and then they fly for you and you pay them well and it works out. And then sometimes it doesn't work out too. But if you're developing, like Jesus took people that were all rejected from being followers of a rabbi. Because as I understand the culture of that time, everybody wanted to follow a rabbi, and you had to be chosen by that rabbi, by that teacher. And if you weren't chosen by that teacher, then you went and did other jobs, like you went back to your family business, or you did something else. And so all the people that are there, that I understand it, are probably people that thought it would be cool, but didn't make the cut. They weren't good enough. And so he chose a bunch of people that weren't good enough. And even worse than that, he chose people that were like sinners. Like the tax collector is like, everybody thinks he's the worst dude. They all hate him. They all hated tax collectors. And Jesus put one of those guys on his team. So he chooses the losers, and also the people that everybody hates, and also the people that are kind of failures. He even chose one guy who in the end betrayed him. So in some ways, like people might look at it and be like, Jesus, he's like he's bad at finding talent. Like he doesn't know who to look for or whatever. But I think his heart is just to develop people, and he sees what they could be, and then he wants to see that become reality. So then he invests in them, spends time with them, and challenges them. And the end result is that these guys are ready to take over the world. I don't know. I don't know if this is a different... This is episode 2?
Different way of thinking.
Oh, okay.
Because what if Jesus saw their potential? Like these group of people that look really, really bad.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Right now. Like he saw the potential. Like he saw their future.
Right.
It's like way bigger and better than... These group of people that look kind of nice are already good now.
Yes.
He chose the ones that have better.
So he kind of has like a prophetic word. He kind of knows. I believe that.
I don't know.
I think that is true. I think he sees the potential. Like Hebrews 12 says, for the joy set before him. So Jesus saw what was going to become after he went to the cross. So he knew that, and then he was willing to suffer and die on the cross because he knew what kind of result would happen. So I think in one sense I can see that, but I have to be honest, like I don't pretend to believe like, oh my gosh, I saw Angela, like I had this open vision, someday she's gonna like manage like 10 coffee shops, it's gonna be like, I don't necessarily think that I saw it in that clear of a way. I'm just like, hey, like I could see this really working out. And I've seen it work out with other people before, and people that maybe didn't have enough talent or enough experience, and yet God still used them. And I think ultimately for me, that's my story. When they invited us to move to Taiwan to start this stuff, it like the guys that invited us, they had never met me before. They only knew Jamie, and they invited me and Jamie, my wife, to move to Taiwan 2 weeks after we graduated from college with one-way plane tickets because they believed that this could work, and they just took that risk. And a lot of people that took risks, like it ends up not working out, but then sometimes it does. So let's just give it a try and see what happens.
Did you ask them why?
I have. I don't remember exactly what the answer was. I think they just wanted to experiment, you know. They knew Jamie was cool. Everybody knows Jamie's cool. But they didn't, they just said, we hope she's good at picking a guy. Like she was good at leading short-term teams to Taiwan because she had done that before and it was good. And they just hoped that she like didn't choose a total weirdo. And to bring it all the way back to the beginning, I guess she did choose a weirdo because that's what you said. This weird foreigner sitting in the coffee shop. So I am a weirdo. But thanks for interviewing me, I guess.
Yeah. So would you recommend people that want to start a business like this to like do the way you did, like trying to develop people? And if you would recommend it, what are some tips like for them, like, or some things that you think they should keep in mind?
I think you should fully commit yourself to whatever you believe you are called to do. Whatever is that burning in your heart, go for it. But don't go for it if the motivation is, I want to make money only, or I want to be famous only. Go for it if you know that it's for something greater than yourself, and it's like you have to know it's for that because it's going to be hard and you're going to want to quit a lot. So you need to have resilience to keep going, and you need to have resourcefulness to try different ways. I mean, when we tried to get started, there were so many things that did not go according to our plan, and it was pretty bad, pretty rough sometimes, and you want to quit. But if you have that passion and you have that resilience, that passion will lead to that resilience and that resourcefulness. So if you have that passion for something, I would say like check and see if you have that about whatever it is, starting a business or moving to a new country or getting a different job or going to talk to that cute boy or girl. Whatever it is, like, know that you're called to do that, and with passion, fully invest yourself in it, and know that it's probably going to fail. So you have to have that passion to go beyond the normal, and you have to be a little bit crazy and a little bit obsessed, and then you'll see some pretty cool things happen as a result. That's my advice.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on today's podcast.
Thank you for joining us. Like and subscribe, and we'll have more coming. Talk about more stuff that you might or might not be interested in.
That you will be interested in. It's going to be awesome. Isang. Bye. Okay, bring the energy. Bring the energy.
No, that's your...
Hey guys, welcome to the show. My name is Angela.
I should close it?
Close them down.
Yeah.
What is going on? All right.
See you next time. See you maybe next time, or...
Cut. Do it again. Not see you maybe next time. Hey, this show was awesome, and you need to like and subscribe.
Oh.
Like and subscribe.
Like,
subscribe, share. Because
Subscribe.
I want you on the journey with us. Okay, so I'm gonna, and then you can start again.
Huh?
I'm gonna be quiet, and you gotta finish it. It's your podcast, dude. It's your show.
I don't like it when you're too quiet.
Okay, I'll just make a noise while you're going. Go ahead. Beep, bop, boop. Beep, bop, boop.
What should I say?
Thanks. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. We might have more.
That is what you might have more.
Just leave it hanging.
Thank you for joining us. Like and subscribe, and see you next time as we talk more about the journey of running our coffee shop.